Okay, this is day 7 of 31. A weekend, that's a good sign. So this video is going to be as short and sweet as I can make it. Don't really have any big thing planned for today. I'll just sort of talk about a few of the key things that I have realized over the last week of making these videos, over the last 6 days. And what I intend to make sure becomes a new pillar that I use, that I have for the rest of these 31 days, and especially at least for the end of this week. I'll start off with a quote that came to mind last night, that you have all the time in the world if you are figuring out who you are and you are figuring out who you want to be. If you tell yourself you have all the time in the world to figure this out, and you aren't actively intending to figure this out, you have absolutely no time to waste. I don't really have anything I want to say about that quote. I think it's really nice, and one that I will probably tap into in 1 or 2 other later videos. That being said, the key things that I figured out by the end of this week, over the last few days, and what I wanted to ensure that I would remember for this week while I'm interacting with whoever I am, whether it's somebody that I end up talking to on the street, whether it's somebody that I'm talking to at work, a colleague I don't usually talk to, or even somebody that I spend a lot of time with, and I want to further enhance that relationship that we have and actually expand on the kind of conversations and discussions we have. Now, one of the first things that I wanted to make sure I've sort of listed them out, not in order per se, but to go from the order that I wrote them down. I'll make sure that, at least for this week, as I had mentioned in the video, I believe the day before yesterday, was that I would say hello to everybody that I work with, even if I don't directly work with them. I will, secondly, make sure to remember it is not a waste of time to take my time to speak. I will only allow positive feedback loops into my day and into my week. Fourth, you are never the center of a problem, so you should never put yourself in one to begin with. The fifth thing that I need to make sure I remember, that I think will actually allow me to have a really good week, will be to make sure that I remember to have faith in my intuition and my instincts, for their faith is within me, for their faith is in me. Now, the sixth thing would be, I just remembered that I forgot to actually remove the clock that I had, which, at least in yesterday's video, that ticking sound was very, very loud. So I figured halfway through I realized I hadn't taken it down. I've taken it off now. But the sixth thing that sort of sprung to mind today was that the world will give you what you ask it. I spent a little bit of time, not enough time for me to really have a really thorough answer to this question, but something that I will ask myself further is, what is it that I want from this world? What is it that if I were to ask for, and if I were to receive it, what would that thing be? And, basically with a very simple answer I came up with was, I want to be comfortable and certain in myself. This is how I believe I will become happy and fulfilled in life. And, to try and answer the question, now how do I get this? How do I end up in a position where that is what I can get out of life? I need to make sure that I get out of my own way. I need to make sure that I am not being caught up in myself, that I'm not letting the 5 things that I had sort of come to discover earlier this week, over the last 6 days, that by reinforcing at least 4 of these sort of principles, 4 of these practices, I will ensure that I will be able to actually do that and get out of my own way. This is a much shorter video than the rest of the other videos that I've made. I'm sure that's a good sign for some. But I didn't really have any plans for today. Yesterday I didn't really spend any time trying to think about exactly what I want to talk about today. It was a bit of a slower day today, and I was feeling a little bit under the weather today as well, but I definitely will make sure that tomorrow I've got a bit more of an extensive video. I will actually think about, if not today, the day after, trying to actually change the scenery I've got behind me. At least try to sit somewhere else. Keep things interesting. Yeah, okay, so until I talk to you again tomorrow, take care.